Discover the transformative wisdom of Napoleon Hill as we explore one of life's most powerful skills, the ability to control your emotional reactions. In this video, you'll learn how mastering your responses to challenging situations can unlock unprecedented levels of success, inner peace, and personal power. Drawing from Hill's timeless principles of success psychology, we'll reveal practical strategies that have helped countless individuals transform their lives by simply learning when not to react. What if I told you that the secret to extraordinary success and unshakable inner peace isn't about doing more, but about doing less, specifically reacting less? Today, we're diving deep into one of Napoleon Hill's most profound yet overlooked principles, the transformative power of not reacting. This single skill has the potential to revolutionize your relationships, accelerate your success, and give you a level of emotional mastery that most people never achieve. Quote Napoleon Hill, the legendary author of Think and Grow Rich, spent over 20 years studying the habits and mindsets of the most successful people of his time. Through his research, he discovered that the individuals who achieved lasting success and happiness shared one crucial trait. They had mastered the art of controlled response rather than impulsive reaction. They understood that between every stimulus and response lies a space, and in that space lies our power to choose our response. In that choice lies our growth, our freedom, and ultimately our destiny. Think about the last time someone said something that triggered you. Maybe it was a critical comment from a colleague, an unreasonable demand from a family member, or even a stranger's rude behavior. What did you do? If you're like most people, you probably reacted immediately, perhaps with anger, defensiveness, or frustration. But what if, in that moment, you had paused? What if you had chosen not to react at all? The difference between these two approaches isn't just about maintaining composure. It's about maintaining control over your life's direction. Hill understood that our emotional reactions are often our greatest enemies in disguise. They rob us of our power, cloud our judgment, and lead us down paths we later regret. When we react impulsively, we're essentially handing over the steering wheel of our lives to whatever or whoever triggered us. We become prisoners of circumstance rather than architects of our destiny. But when we learn to pause, to breathe, and to choose our response consciously, we reclaim our power and open ourselves to possibilities we never saw before. The philosophy of not reacting doesn't mean becoming passive or indifferent. It's quite the opposite. It means becoming so internally strong and centered that external circumstances cannot shake your foundation. It means developing such clarity of purpose and vision that temporary setbacks and provocations cannot derail you from your path. This is what Hill called definiteness of purpose, having a clear vision of where you're going, that the opinions, actions, and behaviors of others become irrelevant noise rather than steering forces. Consider the difference between water and rock when faced with obstacles. A rock meets resistance with resistance, often breaking under pressure or causing destruction in its path. Water, however, flows around obstacles, finding the path of least resistance while maintaining its essential nature. It doesn't fight the rock. It simply continues its journey, often eventually wearing down even the hardest stone through patience and persistence. This is the power of not reacting, maintaining your flow while allowing obstacles to be what they are, without letting them define your path. Hill's research revealed that successful people had developed what he called emotional discipline. They understood that emotions, while natural and important, should be servants rather than masters. When faced with criticism, they didn't immediately defend themselves, but instead asked, "Is there truth in this that I can use?" When confronted with anger, they didn't match it with anger, but responded with curiosity about what was really being communicated. When presented with obstacles, they didn't waste energy in frustration, but immediately began looking for solutions or alternative paths. This emotional discipline isn't about suppressing feelings or becoming robot-like. It's about creating space between your feelings and your actions. One of the most practical applications of this principle is in our daily interactions with others. How many relationships have been damaged by reactions we wish we could take back? How many opportunities have been lost because we let our emotions drive our responses? When someone criticizes you, instead of immediately defending or counterattacking, what if you paused and asked yourself, what is this person really trying to communicate? Is there something valuable I can extract from this interaction? This shift from reactive to responsive can transform not only individual conversations, but entire relationships. Hill also emphasized that not reacting gives you a tremendous strategic advantage in any situation. While others are caught up in emotional turbulence, you remain clear-headed and able to see opportunities that reactivity would blind you to. You can observe patterns, understand underlying motivations, and make decisions based on logic and long-term thinking rather than short-term emotional impulses. This clarity becomes a superpower in negotiations, leadership situations, and any scenario where you need to influence outcomes. The practice of not reacting also builds what Hill called self-reliance. When you're not constantly being thrown off course by external events and other people's behaviors, you develop unshakable confidence in your ability to handle whatever life throws at you. You begin to trust your own judgment more than the opinions of others. You become less dependent on external validation and more connected to your own inner compass. This self-reliance becomes the foundation for all other forms of success and achievement. But how do you actually develop this skill? Hill suggested several practical approaches. First, develop the habit of pausing before responding to any emotionally charged situation. Even a few seconds can make the difference between a reaction you will regret and a response you'll be proud of. Second, practice observing your emotions without immediately acting on them. Notice what triggers you and ask yourself why. Often our strongest reactions point to areas where we need to grow or heal. Third, cultivate the habit of asking yourself, will this matter in 5 years? This simple question can instantly put most situations into perspective and prevent you from overreacting to minor inconveniences. Another powerful technique is to reframe challenging situations as opportunities for growth. Instead of seeing a difficult person as an obstacle, see them as a teacher helping you develop patience and understanding. Instead of viewing criticism as an attack, see it as feedback that might contain valuable insights for your improvement. Instead of seeing setbacks as failures, see them as course corrections guiding you toward better strategies. This reframing doesn't just help you avoid negative reactions, it actually transforms potentially negative experiences into positive ones. Hill also stressed the importance of having a clear vision of who you want to become. When you have a strong sense of your values and your goals, it becomes much easier to avoid reacting to things that don't align with or contribute to that vision. You can ask yourself, does reacting to this serve the person I'm becoming? Does this response move me closer to my goals or further away from them? This clarity of purpose acts as a filter helping you determine which situations deserve your energy and which ones you should simply let pass by. The compound effect of not reacting is profound. Each time you choose response over reaction, you're building emotional muscle. You're training your brain to pause, to consider, and to choose. Over time, this becomes your default mode of operation. You become known as someone who is calm under pressure, wise in difficult situations, and reliable when others are losing their composure. These qualities naturally attract opportunities, relationships, and success that reactive people often push away through their impulsive behaviors. Remember, the goal isn't to become emotionless or passive. The goal is to become emotionally intelligent and strategically responsive. You want to feel your feelings fully, but not let them drive your actions unconsciously. You want to be passionate about your goals and values while remaining flexible in your methods. You want to care deeply about important things while not being derailed by unimportant ones. As you begin to implement this principle in your life, be patient with yourself. Changing reactive patterns. You might catch yourself after you've already reacted, and that's perfectly fine. Simply acknowledge what happened, learn from it, and commit to doing better next time. Each moment presents